For this sequence, we're going to use a towel as our prop. We're going to use my son-in-law Nick as our demo. And we're going to use this towel as a prop to help open up and release the hips, the spine, and the rib cage. We spend so much of our time kind of sitting in a semi-slumped position that to be able to move in the other direction is really nice. Sometimes, however, when you're stretching, you move right past where you want to be. The towel is going to help us promote neutral, bring us back to balance. Instead of just stretching in the other direction, we're going to use the principles of yin yoga, which are basically the longer you hold something, the more you get into the connective tissue, and you allow the connective tissue to really release. So we're going to do very small moves that we hold for quite a while, letting the connective tissue really release and open up. So we're going to start by having Nick put this towel directly underneath his hips and sacrum. He's going to keep his knees bent to begin with. And as he lays here, he'll feel his hips kind of start to sink into the towel. The longer you do this, the more connective tissue release you'll get. And of course, in this video, I'm not going to have him hold anything for longer than a minute, but you can either pause this or you can do this routine on your own, and you can hold this for 5, even 10 minutes. The longer you hold it, the more the connective tissue is going to release, the more the hips are going to balance out and even out. So even looking at him, I can kind of see his hips kind of moving into the towel. And the towel's a nice prop because you don't really have to go buy anything. You have it in your house. As you do this routine, you might need something a little bit higher. But I really want you to start with something low level so that your body can really get used to just relaxing. The higher you go, the more muscle tension you have to use. So the towel's really nice because it just gives you enough movement to allow things to relax, enough of a pop up off the table or the floor or whatever you happen to be laying on to allow things to actually relax, but not enough to really pull in all of your muscles. So I'm going to have him straighten out his legs, and only do this if you can, okay? Now again, this isn't a huge stretch, but here in this position you get a nice low level stretch for your main hip flexor muscles. So iliopsoas, rectus femoris, you get a nice hip flexor stretch. And again, you can lay here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You could use a yoga block to do this. A yoga block's a little more restrictive just because of the material that it's made out of. What's nice about the towel is it's going to conform to your body and kind of let your body mold back into the surface that you're laying on. You can stay here for quite a while. We're not going to stay too long. What we're going to do next is we're going to start moving that towel up the back. And again, go ahead and sit up. Just bring that towel up a little bit so it's just kind of directly underneath the bottom of the rib cage. So what you really want to do is just let that diaphragm open up. We have a tendency to kind of sink into our diaphragm as we sit throughout the day. You can keep your knees bent. Let's see what that feels like if you straighten them out, Nick. Go ahead and straighten them out. Does that enhance it? Okay. So if you have a back problem and you need to keep your knees up, you can do that. You can put your feet back on the table or the floor and keep your knees up. But if you'd like to enhance this a little bit, go ahead and straighten out your legs. You can see too that he brought his hands up over his head. This again could enhance the position, really help stretch and open up that diaphragm. But you might want to try it with your hands down as well. See if that doesn't bring the movement and the opening right into the trunk of your body. Sometimes when you raise your arms, you get more of a stretch through the sides. Whereas here with the arms down, you might get more of a stretch through the front. Okay, let's move that towel again, Nick. We're going to move it up to about mid-chest height. Okay, see if I got that in the right position. Okay, so his shoulders are going to come off the top of it. It's going to sit right here about mid-chest height. Now, particularly for women, this is going to feel really good because, again, most of us wear underwires, and that bra line, those ribs have a tendency to be really compressed and kind of stuck. So just this low-level position where you're not really in a huge stretch, you're just letting your body kind of relax in a neutral position. Chest out can feel really, really good. So So we're going to keep him here for about a minute, but you might want to pause this and just lay over this towel for quite a while. If you've got a foam roller, you can use a half foam roller to do this. I wouldn't suggest a full. But I would tell you again, kind of like a yoga block, a foam roller is really dense. It's not going to allow your body to really conform to it. The towel will actually give you a better release. You feel anything moving in there? Feels pretty good as you lay there. Yeah. Okay, we're going to move it one more time in the back. We're going to move it to the top, and then our last position is we're going to move it up to the neck. Okay? All right, so I've got that right at the top of his back. Now, this one should let your shoulders really come open because now you've popped your shoulders up off of the surface that you're laying on. So it should really let your shoulders kind of open up. You want to be careful that you're not hiking your shoulders toward your ears, trying to compensate for anything. Just let them be loose. Let them come out to the sides. Let the chest really open up. And just relax. Take deep breaths. You might want to do some deep breathing into the chest. Really open up that chest. So breathe right here. You see, he had to think about that. Most people breathe into their bellies. Really try and breathe right into the chest. Open up that sternum. Really open that chest up. And you might want to stay here again for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on your time of the day. The longer you stay, the more that connective tissue is going to respond and release. Most of us too, we have our arms out in front of us a lot of the day. We're on computers, we're on laptops, we're reading things, maybe we're doing massage, right? So our arms are out in front of us. When you lay like this, it really lets the shoulders kind of open into a back position so that they're really kind of coming open. It's very, very nice. Our last position is we're going to move this towel up to right underneath the cervical spine, so it's right underneath the neck. So the head can just kind of relax toward the back of the towel. And again, this is the natural curve to the cervical vertebrae. I said this in another video, but you can leave this towel here for a good 5 minutes. You're really recreating the natural curve to the cervical spine. So if you spend a lot of your time with your head down, looking at your laptop or your phone or whatever it happens to be, this is a great position, even just 5 minutes at night, to help open up your neck. It'll get rid of headaches, really help your shoulders open up as well. Now we could just stay here all day. You look awfully comfortable. We're going to go ahead and finish out the series. Please feel free to pause and stay in these positions as long as you'd like to.